There are two kinds of rules in this world: the ones that are written down and the ones that are not. We are taught the written rules from birth: be kind, work hard, be honest. These are the rules of civilized society. But it's the unwritten rules, the timeless laws of power, that truly shape our careers, our relationships, and our destinies. Have you ever followed all the written rules, only to be outmaneuvered by someone who seemed to be playing a different game entirely? That is because they were playing the game of power, a game that has been played in royal courts, in corporate boardrooms, and in social circles since the dawn of time. The landscape changes, but the dynamics of human nature do not. No book has ever decoded these unwritten rules more brutally or more brilliantly than Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power. Today, we will not just distill, but deeply analyze 5 of the most essential laws for the modern world. We will explore what they are, the psychology of why they work, and the intricate ways they interact with each other to form a complex web of strategy. This knowledge can be dangerous, but ignoring it is fatal. Welcome to Power. The first and most fundamental law is never outshine the master. Always make those above you feel comfortably superior. In your desire to please or impress them, do not go too far in displaying your talents, or you might accomplish the opposite: inspire fear and insecurity. Consider the tragic tale of Nicolas Fouquet, finance minister to King Louis XIV of France. To honor his king, he threw a party so extravagant that every noble in Europe talked about it. But Louis XIV was not honored. He was insulted. Fouquet's brilliance made the king feel overshadowed. The very next morning, the king had Fouquet arrested. He spent the last 20 years of his life in prison. His crime was not theft. It was outshining his master. The danger in applying this law, of course, is that if you suppress your talents too much, you may be perceived as mediocre. The key is subtlety. Your competence should be obvious, but it must appear to serve the master's own brilliance. You create the image of a loyal and indispensable subordinate, a kingmaker. This is a position of immense hidden power, as the master becomes dependent on you for their success and image. This law finds its synergy with Law 3, conceal your intentions. To avoid outshining your master, you must conceal the true extent of your talents and ambitions. You perform brilliantly, but you hide the full scope of your abilities, making your successes seem effortless or even lucky, which is far less threatening to an insecure superior. When you recognize this law being used against you, for example, a rival praising you excessively in front of your boss, your countermove is immediate deflection. Turn the praise back to the master. Say, I was only able to achieve that because of the guidance and vision the boss provided. You neutralize the threat by reinforcing the hierarchy. The long-term reputational effect of mastering this law is that you become known as the ultimate consigliere, or trusted number 2. It is a reputation for loyalty and effectiveness that grants you access to the highest circles of power, not as the king, but as the one who advises the king. The second law we'll explore is to conceal your intentions. Keep people off balance and in the dark by never revealing the purpose behind your actions. If they have no clue what you are up to, they cannot prepare a defense. We live in an age of radical transparency. We post our goals, our business plans, our next moves. This is a strategic disaster. Mystery is power. Predictable people are icily controlled. Otto von Bismarck, the man who unified Germany, was a master of this law. He would publicly proclaim his peaceful intentions while secretly stoking tensions and maneuvering his rivals into wars they were unprepared for. By the time they realized his true goal was German domination, it was an accomplished fact. The key to this law is to create a believable smokescreen. If you are too secretive, you arouse suspicion. The trick is to seem open and honest about minor things, to dangle a plausible but false goal for people to focus on. Think of how Apple under Steve Jobs operated. Rumors would fly, but the true nature of a product like the iPhone was a complete mystery until the moment of its reveal. This law works in perfect harmony with Law 4, always say less than necessary. The easiest way to conceal your intentions is to control your tongue. Vague speech is the perfect fog to hide your true plans. When you suspect someone is concealing their intentions from you, a direct confrontation is useless. Your countermove is to test them with decoys, present them with a piece of false information that seems valuable, or propose a hypothetical path of action, and watch their reaction closely. Their eagerness or dismissal of the decoy will tell you more about their true priorities than any direct question. Playing this game long-term has consequences. While you may achieve your goals, you will earn a reputation for being a schemer. You will be respected for your results, but never truly trusted, which will isolate you from forming the genuine, deep alliances that are often a source of lasting power. The third law is to always say less than necessary. When you are trying to impress people with words, the more you say, the more common you appear, and the less in control. Powerful people impress and intimidate by saying less. The more you say, the more likely you are to say something foolish. Silence makes people uncomfortable. They will rush to fill that silence, revealing their own intentions and weaknesses. The artist Andy Warhol built his entire persona on this law. In interviews, he would give one-word answers or cryptic statements. This forced others to interpret his work, often projecting a depth and genius onto it that far exceeded his reality. His silence made him a blank screen. The power of silence is that it makes you appear thoughtful. Your words gain weight because of their scarcity. However, be cautious. In a situation that demands clarity or collaboration, saying too little can be mistaken for incompetence. To add to its power, you can combine it with Law 12, use selective honesty and generosity. After a long period of silence, a single, well-placed, seemingly honest confession can be a devastatingly effective tool to disarm an opponent. When this tactic of strategic silence is used against you, your countermove is to resist the urge to fill the void. Get comfortable in the silence yourself. Let it stretch. Often the person who used it first will break, unable to handle the pressure they created. Alternatively, you can take control by asking direct, open-ended questions that cannot be answered with a simple phrase, forcing them to speak and reveal more than they intended. A long-term reputation for saying less makes you seem profound and deliberate. It can, however, also make you appear cold and unapproachable, hindering your ability to lead through charisma and inspiration. Our fourth law is a crucial one. Win through your actions, never through argument. Any momentary triumph you think you have gained through argument is really a Pyrrhic victory. The resentment and ill will you stir up is stronger and lasts longer than any momentary change of opinion. It is much more powerful to get others to agree with you through your actions, without saying a word. Demonstrate, do not, is. Consider Michelangelo and the mayor of Florence. Upon seeing the finished statue of David, the mayor declared that its nose was too big. Michelangelo did not argue. He simply climbed his ladder, pretended to tap away at the nose while dropping marble dust he had hidden in his hand. He then asked, "How does it look now?" The mayor, feeling his feedback had been implemented, declared it a masterpiece. Michelangelo changed nothing, but he won through a clever demonstration. This law is more relevant today than ever. In the world of online content, creators who get into comment wars almost always lose. This law is amplified by Law 36, disdain things you cannot have. Ignoring them is the best revenge. Arguing with a critic gives them importance. By disdaining their critiques and focusing on your tangible actions, you deny them the attention they crave. When someone tries to drag you into a pointless argument to dismiss your well-researched idea, your countermove is to refuse the premise. Do not debate. Instead, propose a small-scale low-risk real-world test. Say, instead of debating the theory, let's test a small piece of it for a week and look at the results. The action becomes your ally, and the results become your argument, which is irrefutable. Building a reputation as an executor who delivers tangible results is ironclad. It attracts resources and talent. The only long-term danger is that you may be overlooked for purely visionary roles that require powerful rhetoric to inspire people toward a future that cannot yet be demonstrated. Finally, our fifth law for today is to enter action with boldness. If you are unsure of a course of action, do not attempt it. Your doubts and hesitations will infect your execution. Timidity is dangerous. Better to enter with boldness. Any mistakes you commit through audacity are easily corrected with more audacity. Everyone admires the bold. No one honors the timid. Think of Julius Caesar crossing the Rubicon River with his army, a direct act of treason against Rome. It was a point of no return. This single, bold act so terrified his enemies in the Senate that they fled, leaving him to take the city without a fight. Boldness is a psychological weapon. It creates the perception that you are in complete control. However, there is a fine line between boldness and recklessness. This is why it must be counterbalanced with Law 29. Plan all the way to the end. Boldness is the final, dramatic step of a meticulous plan. The boldness is in the execution, not the conception. Your boldness should also be unpredictable, synergizing with Law 17. Cultivate an air of unpredictability. A bold move is 10 times more effective if it is also completely unexpected. When you see someone using boldness to sweep you off your feet, a charismatic leader promising the impossible, your countermove is to remain calm and ask for the details. Do not question their confidence, question their logistics. That's a powerful vision. Could you walk me through the first 3 steps of the plan? Boldness often masks a lack of substance, and rational, detailed questions can deflate their entire performance. A long-term reputation for boldness makes you the person everyone turns to in a crisis. But it is a high-stakes game. A single bold move that fails spectacularly can shatter your reputation in an instant. These 5 laws are not a simple guide to becoming a better person. They are a guide to understanding the complex, often ruthless, nature of power. The purpose of this knowledge is not to become a manipulative monster. It is to become an astute observer of the human condition, to understand that power is a fluid, dynamic game, and that each law interacts with the others. The true master understands not just the individual rules, but the entire strategic landscape. To know the game is to protect yourself from the predatory players and navigate the world with intention and awareness. True power isn't just about wielding these laws. It's about having the wisdom to know when, where, and if to use them at all. That is the ultimate lesson. If you want to continue mastering the unwritten rules of power, subscribe to Powerology and activate the notification bell. Now, for the critical thinkers here. In the comments, tell us which of these 5 laws you have seen most clearly in action in your own life.